you've got a case of the Delta drips, then I've got the solution for you. Okay guys, DIY Dad here showing you. We are going to replace the cartridge, which this is the cartridge, for a Delta 1700 series. And I'll show you, I just bought this guy on Amazon, a lot cheaper on Amazon. And this is everything you're going to need. A pair of pliers, a wrench, Phillips screwdriver. I like to use some silicone grease, the replacement cartridge, and we've got everything else here in the goodie package. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn the water off and drain it. That's what I'm doing currently because I've been dripping in here. So how you can identify what you've got, we have a Delta on the bottom. It'll show you that it's a monitor right there, and up underneath 1700 series. And the first step is this guy right here. It's a separate hot and cold adjustment from the faucet itself. This just pops off. It doesn't feel like it, but trust me, it just pops off. And there's a screw in here, and we've got some gunk in there, but that's how these things work, right? That screw comes off, and this is what you're gonna see. What we're gonna do after that is pull this guy right off. It will slide off in your hands. We'll set that aside. And what you're left looking at is the cartridge, and you've got this guy that will screw around the 1700 cartridge. Mine's already kind of loose because I was messing with it earlier. So my water's draining, it's off. I'm gonna go ahead and start moving on this guy. You may have more difficulty than me because if you've never adjusted it or changed it before, these guys can get kind of corroded and tight. We've messed with this guy before, so not my first rodeo. And that guy will just come right off, exposing the goodies underneath. And I'll show you what we do from here. Okay, I got my sleeve off and I loosened this so I can do it by hand to show you. It's hard to hold the camera and do it at the same time. This will just screw off, and that will expose our cartridge itself. And there's two different types of cartridges to this guy. I think the cutoff year was 2005. So it's a pre-2005 and post-2005. So when you go to order one, there'll be one with a white cap and one with a gray cap. Mine's the older one, so I've got the white cap. The newer one has a gray cap on it. That's the only variance between these guys. So with the water off, I'm gonna pull this guy out. You can see, you'll get some water draining. There we go. And pay attention to how it comes out because you wanna go back in the same way. Mine has, there's a little groove on this side of it here. So when we go to put it back in, we'll make sure that groove is to the left. But when that comes out, you might see some gunky because, you know, if you have hard water like we do, you get gunky. And that's what your cartridge looks like. Up inside there, you've got a couple O-rings in the back. Those are spring loaded. We'll pull those out and I'll show you what we get from there. So here's a better look with a little bit better light. What you're looking at inside, there's an O-ring here. Boom, boom, we'll take that guy out. There's one on the side here. And right there, you can see the spring-loaded guys. So these guys come out right here. So you got an O-ring and one of these spring-loaded guys on each side. So pay attention because you want to put them back in the same exact way. So you can see on this side, spring-loaded guy still in there, O-ring out. This guy, O-ring still in, spring-loaded guy out. So that's what you're looking for. So I went ahead and cleaned it out. Again, we have hard water here in the Midwest, so I cleaned it up a little bit. You'll see this is what it looks like once you have both of your O-rings and your spring-loaded jubbers out, and get it good and clean as much as you can. And we're gonna put everything back together. And I'm gonna put some silicone grease on everything that I throw in here because I think it just helps it seal up better, but I'll show you what we've got. Everything that we've taken out is sitting right here. So everything there, here it goes. We've got the cartridge, our bushings, and our little spring-loaded guys. I'll clean all this kind of stuff up before we put it back together, but that's it. It's that simple. And just two spring-loaded guys back in there, and I find it easier to use a pair of needle nose pliers to help you in this situation because it's hard to kind of balance them and get them in there. Just be gentle with them. And I've greased up both these O-rings, and we're gonna pop those guys in there. So those O-rings will go right back around the outside. A quick video showing you the O-rings put back together, the spring-loaded jobbies. And now we are ready to put the new cartridge in. And remember, my cartridge had a slot on this side. You can see the slot here. So you'll know how to put it back in. We're gonna put that cartridge back in. I have also used that silicone grease around the O-ring on the cartridge itself. We're gonna slide her back in. Cartridge back in. Again, that groove is right over here. So it's gotta sit in there just right. Again, I'm an advocate. I just threw a little bit of grease on this coupler so that when we put her back on and get it snug, it doesn't corrode on there. I mean, this is just one of those things that they go bad over time. So I like to leave it a little loose. I'll tighten that down with my wrench just a smidge. And then we're just reversing the process. We'll put our handle back on. I cleaned it up like I showed you a little bit. We'll slide this guy back on. I guess we'll put our couple over it first, make it look pretty. And then we'll put our handle back on. We'll take our plastic hot and temperature control, which slides right on like this, and screw goes in here, and then the cover goes back on that. It snaps again. This thing just snaps inside. But that's it. So you're just reversing the process of taking it apart. I'll show you what she looks like when she's all okay. So here's your finished product. I snapped this guy back on. Trust me, it snaps off, it snaps on. It doesn't feel like it when you're trying to take it apart. The screw's on the inside, but it just snaps back on. This is my temperature control. This is the on, off. So everything is put back together like it should, and it will work great. I will turn the water back onto the house and get her going. I've got about $45 worth of parts invested in that from Amazon. This is absolutely a DIY project that you can tackle, you can handle yourself. You'll probably spend $250, $300 to have a plumber come do this. You can do it yourself, I promise you. This is, look at that, a DIY project. Take care.